Good afternoon, everyone. Uh, so we've seen a dichotomy of inputs today. If you're in the banking and financial services world, you would have seen so many smooth demos where they tell you that AI agents will kind of solve everything. Okay, you just give in the input, and in the other end, if you were to just move back to reality, you will realize that most decision making in institutions still lives in an era of business rule engines. We are living in an era where we have a static rule which operates around parameters. It may take some inputs from AI based stages, but it will primarily run a rule process and it will give an output based on static rules which are there within the system, which are becoming extensively gamed today. Take a look at the problems that are there, whether you look at it from a point of view of payment frauds, whether you look at it from the point of view of mule accounts, whether you look at it from the point of view of insurance scams, you will realize that in spite of rule engines operating, there seems to be a significant gap. A lot of the data that we are talking about has evolved beyond static rules, requires you to work with ML models, requires you to extract data, and it also requires you to use that data dynamically in order to make decision making. In this era, what we've realized is that the business rule engine is long dead. It is not possible in all cases to process all data and make it available for the rule. Very often, based on the requirement, one may have to access external data, compute additional profiles. Let's say you run a card transaction overseas. The standard rule is, has he run an international transaction? Has he hit a velocity limit of more than 2 transactions? Has he exceeded 50,000? That rule will not be applicable to someone who travels frequently, someone who has done transactions in maybe 1 or 2 countries. Let's say that person goes to a country like Lithuania and does a transaction of 50,000. Would you want it to be escalated? Or would you want to run with a static rule that said, oh, we've had transactions from this person in the US once. Lithuania seems as fine. Let's let it go for the second transaction. How do you decide based on past frauds, past chargebacks to make changes to this decision? So what we're basically telling you is that you need to go beyond a rule engine to a decisioning platform. How is a decisioning platform different? I mean, I've changed the word from rule engine to decisioning platform, and therefore you're supposed to believe me? No, not at all. The key element of the decisioning platform at the first stage is that it has to be able to take in multiple data sources. Unlike today's transaction processing engine, which says I will take your customer's demographic data and the transaction data, what we are telling you is that it has to have the ability to take data from CRMs, it has to take data from IVRs, and bring that data in. At the next stage, it needs to process this data to make meaningful profiles. What is a meaningful profile? Take my previous case. What is the risk profile of Lithuanian card transactions? That's a meaningful profile which is useful to make a decision. Take a view in case of an insurance product or a claim in the health case. What is the length of stay associated with appendicitis in 95 percentile of the cases? That is a meaningful profile which is developed in the analytics layer, which can then be used in your decisioning process. So what we are saying is, we are allowing you to bring in data, structured, unstructured. We are analyzing that data to construct profiles which are meaningful from the point of view of decisioning. And we are then allowing you to use rules, ML models, and agents in a workflow-based approach to do decisioning. And then you'll ask me, is this going to take days? No, the platform operates at an extremely low latency for use cases. So we worked with a range of use cases already. So if you're talking about card-based transactions, UPI transactions, we're talking about latency as low as 80 milliseconds to 100 milliseconds. We're talking about accessing these profiles, running that ML model, running those rules, and generating a decision. We're talking about use cases like anti-money laundering, where we're taking in data of entire transactions done over months, which is in billions of transactions, in order to construct a profile to say whether a particular merchant account or a particular savings account needs to be analyzed further, needs enhanced due diligence to be done. We worked with use cases including aggregating data and are now moving to insurance-related use cases as well. So to give you a view in terms of how this entire process works, you have the ability to bring in different types of data. Transaction data, you could even bring in IP address data, which you can use in order to geolocate the transaction. You could bring in data which can help us tell you whether a particular merchant category code is risky based on past chargebacks. So that's the kind of profiling that we do from your historical data set. And then take it to the decision layer where we run rules and ML models. So unlike just saying that we can run rules and ML models, here's a simple process where you run a blacklist rule, where you run a velocity rule, just add in an ML model. That's what our system gives the ability. You train your ML model on a whole bunch of parameters. You're able to add it into the system just like another rule and run it within a real-time flow. Not only can you do that, you can do graph-based visualization to understand whether there's a relationship between parties. Today, in the world of mule hunting, it is very important to understand which all accounts this transaction has touched in the past. Has this account holder transacted with a mule account in the first leg or in the second leg? Similarly, rule writing itself today is evolving. You can use an AI agent within the platform to help you develop a rule and also simulate that rule. To give you a little bit of a view on our statistics, one of our largest customers operates with close to 5,000 transactions per second. 5,000 transactions per second at an 80 millisecond latency. We're talking about almost 3.5 billion transactions a month on which we are checking for money laundering use cases as well, apart from just fraud. We've integrated with a whole bunch of products, UPI, NEFT, internet banking, mobile banking, Aadhar, and I think the bigger use case is actually NPCI is launching a new product, and we have kept the ability to work with any JSON message structure and bring that into the platform for decisioning. Our platform is agnostic to AWS, GCP, Azure. We've also gone beyond that to other use cases, which include estimating, for example, damage that's associated through AI agents. Yeah, I will skip the other parts. Yeah.